Time marched on, relentless and unwavering, and as it turned its gaze towards the protagonist, it brought with it the inevitable changes that accompany aging. The robust strength that had been his pride began to ebb, replaced by the creeping sensation of frailty. What was once effortless became a struggle. The simple act of rising from a chair now required a moment's hesitation, a silent testament to the passage of time. He found himself standing at the precipice of a new chapter, one where the sun was setting earlier in the sky and the shadows of the past stretched longer with each passing day. The vibrant tapestry of life had been rich with achievement and vigor, but now, as the evening of his life approached, he felt a profound shift in the wind, a change in the very essence of his being. It started subtly, a stiffness in the morning, a weariness in the limbs, a slower step, a heart that seemed to skip a beat more than before. These were the gentle whispers of time, nudging him towards a reality he had always known but never truly felt. The playful jests of youth about growing old had suddenly become a tangible presence in his life. One breezy afternoon, as he strolled through the park, a place that had been his sanctuary since young, he noticed a bench under his favorite oak tree. It beckoned to him, offering a respite from the day's gentle warmth. He sat down, and as he did, he felt a pang of something unfamiliar. A deep sadness washed over him, unbidden and unexpected. It wasn't just the familiar ache of old age settling in his bones. There was something more, something akin to regret. In that quiet moment, he found himself musing about the years gone by. The laughter echoing in his ears, the cheers of the crowd as he crossed the finish line, the feeling of the sun on his skin as he trained in the open field. Memories, once distant, now crowded his thoughts, each holding a piece of his younger self. At that point, the memories weren't just fragments of the past. They were alive, breathing, vibrant. He saw himself again, the young athlete brimming with vigor, challenging the wind, testing his limits, embracing the thrill of every stride. His steps had been light then, mirroring the carefree spirit of youth. He had danced through life, and every movement had been a celebration of being alive. But now here he was, older, his steps measured, his movements deliberate. In the quiet solitude of that afternoon, he grappled with an emotion that had been dormant for so long it had almost turned to dust. Regret. It was a foreign visitor in the landscape of his heart, stirring feelings he had long thought buried. Regret, he realized, was a peculiar guest. It arrived unexpectedly, lingered for a time, and then vanished just as mysteriously as it came. Yet its presence, though transient, resonated deeply within him. He began to wonder if this feeling was a common visitor to the twilight years, a soul-searching traveler on life's final leg, or if it was a unique melody his heart was playing. As days turned into weeks, he found himself drawn back to that same bench under the oak tree. It had become a silent confidant, bearing witness to his internal struggles. With each visit, the conversation between him and the tree deepened. He talked about his life, his triumphs, his defeats, and, most of all, his regrets. The tree stood stoic and wise, its leaves rustling in response, as if sharing in his sorrow or perhaps consoling him. In the solitude of these conversations, he began to unravel the enigma of regret. It wasn't just about the past, he realized. It was about the choices he had made, the paths he had taken, and the moments he had cherished or let slip through his fingers. He thought of the races he had run with reckless abandon, the injuries he had ignored, the moments of joy he had shared with loved ones. Each memory was a brushstroke on the canvas of his life, creating a masterpiece of experience. But now, as he looked back, he saw not just the vibrant colors of happiness, but also the subtle shades of sacrifice, of missed opportunities, of battles fought and won, and sometimes lost. Slowly, the weight of his regrets began to lift. He realized that life was a tapestry woven with both light and shadow, joy and sorrow, triumph and regret. All these threads were essential to the fabric of his existence. The regrets were not just mistakes to be lamented. They were stepping stones, markers on the path he had traveled. They were part of his story, his truth. And as he came to terms with this truth, something remarkable happened. The regrets transformed. They no longer held him down. Instead, they lifted him up, giving him a new perspective on life. They became a source of strength, a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. He began to see that the regrets of youth were the wisdom of age. They were the stories he would tell one day, the anecdotes that would make him smile, shake his head in amusement, or sigh with understanding. They were the chapters that had shaped him, that had led him to this point in his journey. The setting sun cast long shadows on the ground, painting the familiar park in hues of nostalgia. The air was cooler now, carrying the scent of fallen leaves and the promise of winter's approach. It was a season of change, a time of letting go. And as he sat there, he understood that the true essence of life lay not in clinging to the past, but in embracing the present. He closed his eyes, feeling the breeze on his skin, listening to the birdsong in the trees. And in that moment, he was at peace. Years flowed by like the changing seasons. Winter's icy grip, spring's tender embrace, summer's golden glow, and autumn's fiery hues. The cycle continued, each season distinct yet interconnected, just like the phases of his life. The man aged, but his spirit remained young. His hair turned silver, his eyes twinkled with the wisdom of a life well lived. His steps were slower, but his gait was steady. He had learned to savor the present, to find joy in the little things, to appreciate the beauty of each passing day. The park remained his sanctuary, the oak tree his constant companion. And as the years slipped by, their bond deepened. He saw generations of children playing in the very spot where he had once raced as a boy. He watched as lovers strolled hand in hand under the oak's sheltering branches, whispering promises that echoed the vows he had made to his beloved long ago. He had witnessed the cycle of life, the laughter and love, the joy and sorrow. Through it all, the oak tree had stood tall, a silent observer, a giver of shade and solace. As the protagonist entered his twilight years, he was content. He had lived a full life, a life of purpose, passion, and love. He had raced across fields when he was young, and now he walked gently through the park, each step a meditation on the beauty of existence. The athlete who had once sought only victory had found something far greater in the end, the wisdom that comes with age, the peace that comes with slowing down, the joy that comes with simply being. The protagonist's story is a testament to the power of embracing the journey of life. It's a reminder that it's not the destination, but the experiences and wisdom we gather along the way that truly matter. His life was a race well run, a race that had taken him through the valleys of sorrow and the peaks of joy, across the landscapes of love and loss, through the seasons of life. And as he neared the finish line of his journey, he did so with grace, with gratitude, and with the quiet satisfaction of a life fully lived.